This is Will Lockwood from Pharmacy Technology and Management Review, and today I am speaking with Melanie Christie. Melanie is president of Pharmacy Systems at RedSail Technologies. Melanie, today we're going to talk about really hot topic, pharmacy and AI, artificial intelligence. To me, AI appears to be the next big leap in pharmacy automation. How is RedSail thinking about its AI strategy?
At the highest level, when we think about AI, we really think about it through a series of questions to help us filter what we focus on and what we build ourselves versus what we partner on with others that might be doing AI in the industry. So a couple things that we think about: can we use it to solve a meaningful problem? Can we do something that will save time, money, or both? Are we able to improve patient care? And actually, one of the other big items is, do we have the data or access to data to do it ourselves? Because one of the biggest things that we found is your AI technology is only going to be as good as the data that you're able to train the model on. And then we look at, is there anybody out there in the industry already doing it really well? Because that might signal somebody that we just want to partner with. And then how do we really deliver it safely and securely to our customers? Because I think that's the big thing that's top of mind for us and our customers, the security behind anything AI related. The other takeaway that we think about too is piloting, proving it out, and then scaling it to make sure it's returning the results and able to provide a high confidence in whatever particular task that we're automating.
One thing you mentioned was the issue of security. What are some of the key elements that people need to understand?
I think people need to understand at the very basic level too. A lot of the AI tools out there come in two different flavors or versions. There's one that's often free and open source. And while that may seem great, I think people need to really understand that sometimes when you use those free tool sets, then the inputs to those tools can be made available into areas that you may not want your data to be. So I would say, in general, when people approach AI tools, it's often best to have one that is confined and secure to your environment, and or if you're working with a technology provider, that you inquire and work with them to understand what they're doing, what agreements are in place to keep your data safe. That's something we do throughout our systems. To being in the pharmacy space, we have a lot of HIPAA data, so just being very thoughtful and intentional about those pieces.
So we just heard a bit about how RedSail is thinking about its AI strategy. From a pharmacy perspective, what do pharmacies need to know about integrating AI tools into their practice?
It's a great question, because some of those things from the pharmacy lens are the same things that we think about from the technology lens. First, from a pharmacy perspective, what are the biggest challenges that you're facing within your pharmacy? Then look at the tools that are out there from an AI perspective and match them up. I think that's where you're going to get the greatest adoption, is when you're trying to introduce an AI-enabled technology to satisfy a problem that you have. I would also say the same concept of pilot it first, then scale. Make sure you're getting the results, your staff is feeling comfortable with it, because really what we have found is there's a skepticism from the pharmacy staff of, hey, is this going to replace my job? And the reality that we're finding is most often it's just going to complement the work that your staff is already doing. I would also say, think about how good is your data? Is your team good about keeping your data up to date? Specifically things like your drug data, your pricing data, maybe your different provider information, because again, the model is only going to be as good as the data that is being used to train it. And then as you work with your different vendor partners, making sure they're being very clear with you on how the data is being kept secure, understanding if there happens to be any regulatory needs within your particular state or area. Those would be the main things that I would think about. And then actually the other one that comes up quite a bit is having an AI policy for your own pharmacy. As I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure your staff is not using open AI tools to look up things that might be clinical in nature.
I see people get used to asking ChatGPT and they don't think about the consequences that could entail in a pharmacy environment.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
thank you. Those are really informative answers. I appreciate your insight. What would be your takeaway for pharmacies in 2026? What are the key words that you want pharmacies to really think about and focus on?
I would say embrace AI, be curious about AI, and also have a healthy skepticism about AI, because I think all of those things are true. And I think what is going to be true is AI is coming. It is our future. So just starting to think about it, starting to embrace it is really going to be key. I'm excited to see how we can use AI to make our pharmacy teams more efficient so that they can really focus on the things that they really want to do, which we all know is patient care.
Thank you very much, Melanie. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Have a great day.